Hey, first graders. So I'm back with my second pick for this week. And my second pick for this week is called Franny K. Stein, Mad Scientist. And the first book in this series is Lunch Walks Among Us. Now, keeping with our theme, this is a little bit of a spooky, scary story, definitely fiction. And it kind of plays on the whole Frankenstein thing. So a lot of people think Frankenstein is the monster. Frankenstein was the doctor. Frankenstein is Dr. Frankenstein, the mad scientist. So to play on Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, her name is Franny K. Stein. So that's the first thing I just love about this book, and I had to read it when I saw that. Another thing going along with Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol, lots of illustrations. So again, a really nice transition book for those of you going from easy readers to chapter books. The chapters are really short. I may actually have to read two for you today. Otherwise, I won't be reading for very long. This is also a great book with a great main character. So you can really identify with Franny, and you sort of fall in love with her by the end of the book. You just sort of love her. Lots of adventures, kind of crazy things that happen, and it's funny. The other thing I want to mention is that if you buy the book, so if mom or dad go out and they actually purchase the book for you, there is kind of like a little game. There's like a little game you can do in the book. So carefully cut the dotted lines just on the next two pages, and then you can flip the sections back and forth to make monsters. And it says, warning, we assume no responsibility if you actually create a real monster and it destroys your city and eats your stuff. So, you don't want to cut up a library book. This one's a library book. That's why I didn't cut it up. But it's something to think about if you were to go and buy these books on, say, Amazon or something like that. There's also another flip part of the book where you can transform Franny. So just something to think about that makes the books a little bit extra fun. And I'm sure that other books in the series have something fun like that in them too. Sort of like the, is it The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or is it Captain Underpants, where you do the flipograms, where you can flip the pages back and forth? So just something added to the book that makes it fun. Okay. So Frankie K. Stein, Mad Scientist by Jim Benton. And this is Lunch Walks Among Us. Chapter 1, Franny's House. The Stein family lived in a pretty pink house with lovely purple shutters down at the end of Daffodil Street. Everything about the house was bright and cheery. Everything, that is, except the upstairs bedroom with a tiny round window. What's flying around that house? We already have something kind of spooky going on. Yep, those are bats. That room belongs to Franny K. Stein, and she liked to keep it dark and spooky and creepy. Every few days, her mother would come in and redecorate Franny's room with daisies and lilacs and pictures of lovely horses. It would always look so sweet and pretty. So let's look at the way Mom decorated it. But at the very next day, Franny would somehow manage to make it look dark and creepy and spooky again. That was how she liked it, like a dungeon, complete with giant spiders and bats. Bats? Where does she get bats? Her mother would ask when she saw Franny's room. Is there a bat store around here or something? Of course, there wasn't a bat store around. The bats just kept showing up. Bats liked Franny's room, and Franny liked bats. They're like rats. with pterodactyl wings, she'd say. What's not to like? Chapter 2, or I'm breaking my rule. I'm going to read chapter 2 to you, okay? Franny's room. Franny's bedroom was really something special. It had big, steaming test tubes, strange, bubbling beakers, a whole bunch of crackling electrical gizmos that Franny made all by herself. Look at her. She's a mad scientist. Franny's room also had a giant tarantula cage, a snake house, a tank where she raised a special breed of flying piranha. She couldn't imagine why anybody would want daisies or lilacs when they could have a poison ivy or a Venus flytrap. There's no comparison, she'd say, ducking out of the way of a flying piranha. Would you want to have flying piranhas? I certainly would not. Franny thought her room was so great and so wonderful and so perfect for her that she almost never wanted to leave it. But she had to, of course, for things like going outside, eating dinner, going to school, and using the bathroom, which is something Franny really liked to do. Whoops, that didn't sound right. It was going to school that Franny really liked. All right, but what kind of things do you think might happen to Franny at school? So that's kind of where our story takes off and begins. Chapter 3 is new at school. So let's just look at the picture and kind of imagine how that's going to go. And then, Franny kind of has some adventures, and it becomes apparently clear that she is very different and likes very different things than her classmates. And if you want to know how she deals with that and what kind of trouble she kind of gets herself into, definitely check out this book. Also, I highly recommend it for anybody who likes the spooky, the scary, the creepy, but it also keeps it lighthearted and fun and appropriate. It's a cute read, and it turns out to be a super heartwarming story at the end of the book. So check that out. Let me know. I want to know if you guys are reading the books that I'm suggesting to you. So definitely let me know. This week, I'm going to add a flip grid. You guys haven't flipped grid in a really long time, and I miss seeing your faces. So this week I'm going to add a flip grid, and we'll post on this flip grid until the end of the year, and it's going to be your book recommendations. So you can make a video just like I've been making, only yours will be like a minute and a half, not 8 minutes like some of mine are. And I want to hear the books that you're reading, and you can suggest to your classmates so that we can have a big collection of books to read over the summer. I'm going to do a lot of reading over the summer, so I hope you are too. Bye, guys. Miss you. See you soon.